Megatron and goes through a pretty big change. We're introduced to a whole bunch of new Decepticons. What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching The Road to TF5. This is just a web series we're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 90. And I want to say happy birthday to Mr. Butter 2.0, Super Maximus Prime, Omarion Martinez, and the Russin Kid. Happy birthday to all y'all. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for being part of the Ragin Nation. Now, before I begin talking about the news, I just want to take a moment to share with you my thoughts about the U.S. presidential election that took place last night. Now, just bear with me for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I'm not going to get too political. I just have to share with you guys a very, very simple concept. First of all, Donald Trump is now the President of the United States of America. Now, I don't care if you're pro-Trump or pro-Hillary, that is completely irrelevant to me. What is relevant to me is that you are here. Here at the Ragin Nation. The Ragin Nation is a community that was built on three things: excitement, enthusiasm, and respect. Excitement for these upcoming films, enthusiasm for fandom as a whole, and respect for each other. And that's all it is. It's a very simple concept. And I don't care what your political views are. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. It doesn't matter what your age, gender, or race is to me. I don't care if you identify as a symbol or if your spirit animal is a giraffe. I don't care if you identify as a Decepticon, an Autobot, or a triple changer. The only thing that matters to me is that you're here, part of a community that respects each other, and that is the Ragin Nation. I'm excited for all these films that are coming up. I'm excited for the next Transformers film, the next Star Wars film, the upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe film, the next Batman film. A lot of films that are coming out, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are into a lot of those things as well, and that is what brings us together. We don't talk about political stuff. We don't bring religion into this. It doesn't matter if you're 9 years old or 90. It doesn't matter to me. All that matters to me is that you're here. And we've managed to stay here for such a long time. Well, the Ragin Nation started in 2010, so 6 years. And that's still a long time for some people, but the fact is that we managed to survive 6 years by being excited. Excited for all these films, and I just want to tell you guys that I love every single one of you guys. I might not love you guys like I love my mother or my girlfriend, but I do love you guys in the sense that we are one, and we wouldn't be one without each other. So I just want to give you guys a big group hug, and thank you for being there for me, and thank you for being there for each other, and thank you for just being you and expressing yourself in loving what you love. And I love what I do, and I love all these fandoms that fandom has created for us. So thank you so much for sticking around, and I appreciate it. And now let's get on with the news now that I got that out of the way. Alright, so in episode 90, I want to talk about Optimus Prime. Once again, I want to talk about Optimus Prime. We talked about Optimus Prime in the previous episode, and we talked about Optimus Prime once again in the episode before that. My big question in the previous episode was, where is Optimus Prime? And in the previous episode before that, I talked about the toys. Now, in this episode, we're going to talk about a combination of that because, well, I'm still curious about where Optimus Prime is, and in the previous episode, I said they must be filming at a studio backlot. Turns out it's true. After all, they are in Los Angeles, and you know, if they are filming in LA, we have to spot them somewhere. Somebody who lives in LA has to spot them around the area because it's Michael Bay. They're filming with these really, really flashy cars. Somebody's going to spot them. It doesn't matter if you're out in the farm and the countryside. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of the city. Somebody's going to find them. But nobody has spotted them. And the reason why is because they're in a studio backlot. It has been confirmed. Their hairstylist, Yotis Panayotou, on his Instagram account, has posted a photo of Paramount Studios backlot. So that means they're there. And also, if you head over to the Instagram account of PCHX Runners. There are a couple of photos of Bumblebee also at Paramount Studios backlot, and also the Transformers movies Instagram account has also posted a photo of some of their filming. A couple of sparks and explosions going off here and there, but that's Paramount Studios backlot for you. And also Isabella Moner has now returned back to the filming of Transformers last night. She's taken over the Snapchat account. That's the official Snapchat account of Transformers, and she's posted photos of herself. She's covered in dirt, and she's got a couple scrapes and bruises on her knees, and that tells you something, and that is, first of all, they're still filming. They haven't wrapped up yet, but what they're filming is a continuation of what they filmed before. What they filmed before in Detroit. Remember, in Detroit, they were filming a big battle sequence. Explosions happen. You see these kids running around, and there's something big going on there. I don't know exactly what, and there's a lot of course, like filming going on that is behind closed doors. After all, it's in a studio backlot, but a lot is going on there. Now, of course, all the vehicles have shipped over from the UK back to LA. Now, that doesn't 100% confirm that every single one of those vehicles that were shipped over are going to be in the scenes that they're going to film, but we do know one thing, that Optimus Prime is back, but he's not going to be making a lot of appearances as a vehicle. After all, we would have seen him in the UK filming. He's not there. So I expect to see more of him in the LA filming, or rather in the Detroit battle. That's what it appears to be. But besides that, we are not going to see that much more of him. But we are going to see him, of course, as a toy. Now let's move over to talk about the toys now. There is a video, if you head over to Snacka's blog. I've talked about this blog before, but there's an update, and I'm going to leave you a link in the description box below. It is in Japanese, but there is a link to a video. It's a pretty long video. It's on YouTube, and what you see here is this Chinese representative, and she is heading over to Hasbro, Mr. Potato Head, and she got a sneak peek of some of the things that Hasbro's going to offer us. It's a long video. There's a lot to show in this video. You see this guy talking about stuff, Optimus Prime. There's Devastator and Perceptor and Megatron. But what we have here also is a prototype of the Voyager class Optimus Prime. It's not colored, and it's being shown here. And here's a draft of Optimus Prime in a vehicle mode, a robot mode. You see him from different angles, and now we see it colored, and this looks very similar to the photo that we saw before. And now we get to see the actual toy standing with the prototype. Check that out. It looks like this is the real deal. This is the Voyager class Knight version of Optimus Prime, something that we saw as a leader class, but not a Voyager class. Now, of course, the leader class, in my opinion, the Knight, Armor Knight version from Takara from Age of Extinction, is probably going to be the best version of the Armor Knight, the Knight Optimus Prime. This deluxe version looks like a simplified version of that. Who knows if it's going to be a better toy, but of course, being a Voyager class is probably going to be a lot more simple in terms of transformation. But what's very interesting about this is that not only do we see the toy of Optimus Prime in his colors, potentially his final colors, but there is a new CG rendered image of Optimus Prime. We saw the first image of Optimus Prime in the banner, where he's holding a sword. Now here he is standing in this photo, this image rather, very, very cool. Now he looks a little bit beefier, and I can't tell if he really is beefier, but he does based on this angle. Now, he has the knight, he has the shield, he's in his Armor Knight mode. He looks really, really cool. The only thing that I feel is different is his forearms. In Age of Extinction, once he grabbed the sword, his forearms started changing, and it looked like that he had like a kind of like a gauntlet style forearm armor. And it looks a little bit different here. I don't know if that's going to be reflected in the toy, but it looks like it will be reflected in his once we see him in the film in robot mode. But other than that, he's still pretty much the same Knight version of Optimus Prime. So I don't think there's much going on there. But this is at least our first full image of Optimus Prime. And of course, we're going to get an official image later on. It's probably going to be more or less the same thing, at the same angle, the same pose. But this is our first look at Optimus Prime in a CG render, and it looks pretty good, but it's not anything that we should be surprised about. As a matter of fact, I think that if you were waiting for an official image of Optimus Prime, there's really no need to be impatient for it, because what were you expecting? Anything different? Because it isn't anything different. It's more or less going to be the same thing, unless Optimus Prime goes through another dramatic, significant change, which I don't think is going to happen. At least not in this film. I think this film is more about the Decepticons, because Megatron goes through a pretty big change. We're introduced to a whole bunch of new Decepticons, and also there's a big bad Decepticon. So I think this film is more emphasized on the Decepticons. A lot of the other characters, even though they go through a couple of changes, they're still pretty much the same character. But anyways, I'm going to leave you a link to the blog, and I'm going to leave you a link to the video in the description box below for you to check out. That's all I really have to talk about in this episode. We're going to jump to questions. If you hashtag tweeted me the road to TF5 with a question, I would answer it randomly. So here we go. Spencer Eldridge asks, do you think it will play out kind of like TF2 America to Egypt, TF5 America to UK? Geographically, sure, definitely. It'll play out like that. First half in America, second half in the UK as a replacement of Egypt. But the thing is that the UK scenes is not just them being in the UK like they were in Egypt. This is going to be a big deal, considering they're going to all these different places, from castles to the city to Stonehenge to the rolling hills of Scotland. You know what I'm saying? So the Highlands of Scotland, rather. So, it's going to be quite out there. It's definitely going to be a very global type of adventure, and I think it's definitely going to be a lot more dynamic than just sticking to one single location. It's going to be a lot bigger than that. There are going to be car chases within all those locations and a lot of action sequences. So, sure, geographically, yes, it's going to play out like Revenge of the Fallen, but it's a lot more complex than that. Kurt asks, how much of a role do you think Isabella will have in The Last Night? I think it's a pretty big role. She's got action sequences. She has her own little pet Autobot, which is named Squeaks. There are scenes of her with other Autobots. There's scenes with her with Mark Wahlberg. So she's going to play a pretty big role, but her role ends in America, starts and ends in America. She is not included in the UK scenes. I think that it's a little bit dangerous for her, and Mark Wahlberg's character, Kate Yeager, tells her to stay behind and not to join the battle, because the second half of the film is more about Mark Wahlberg's his adventure as a hero of some sort in the final act of the film, which does not include Isabella Moner. I think that Mark Wahlberg in some way treats her like his daughter, and then he says, you know what, you're not coming with us, you stay behind because it's too dangerous. So that's what I think. DJ Fragaman asks, do you think Megatron will die in this movie or stay alive and quit like always to appear next time in TF6? You know what? This is a good question, but your guess is as good as mine, because Megatron has escaped. Megatron has escaped again. Megatron has died. Megatron has escaped. Megatron has died. And then Megatron comes back as Galvatron. And then in this film, Galvatron returns back as Megatron. I think he's going to disappear for a while. I don't think he's going to come back in TF6. I don't think he's going to die. I just think that he's going to disappear and he's going to come back in TF7. That's what I think. Final question comes from Omar Valdez. And will Simmons play a big role in TF5 sequel? If so, what can be your prediction? I think he's going to play a small role, but his contribution is big. He's not going to appear a whole lot in the film, but he will add something to the story and give the Autobots, the good guys, some sort of knowledge that is going to be significant in beating out the bad guys. He always has some sort of knowledge. In every single film that he's been in, he has knowledge that nobody else knows, and he is the key to solving something. So that's what his role will be. Michael Bay's bringing him back, and they're going to continue that tradition. But another reason why I think Simmons is in here, along with Tyrese, is that Michael Bay is going out with a bang. This is his last film, and he just wants to just tie everything together, bring everything full circle. People who didn't appear in Age of Extinction will appear in this one, and they're all going to come together as one big reunion just because, well, this is the last film for Michael Bay. So that's why I think he's going to be there. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. Not a whole lot of news. I mean, the news is getting slimmer just because they're nearing the end of production. They're just about to wrap up, and once they wrap up, we're going to start getting marketing. But which leads me to talk about the trailer. A lot of people have been tweeting at me. I've been reading the comments also. When is the trailer coming out? That's what we're going to talk about in the next episode. Stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about that. So make sure you stay subscribed because there's going to be a little bit of a trailer talk in the next episode. And we'll find out when the heck it's actually coming out. So there you have it. That's all I got to say in this episode. And as always, if you want to see more and you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. The Autobots in the same photo with Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime is separate from the rest of the Autobots. They're split up. Maybe he can't